Okay, we're live. Hey everyone. Thank you for coming. If this is your first time, let me know in the comments. Put a 1 in the comments if it's your first time. We do this, I do this every Saturday, 11 a.m. Eastern Time. And I want to thank Bobby, who comes early and gets everybody all excited. And thank you, Jamie, and all the other moderators who help along, and everybody who comes back every single week. They start chatting about 10:30. And if you have a question for us today I have Carole Prevost with me. And if you want to find her channel, it's Carole's Cricut Crafts. Bobby, I'm sure, will share a link in the chat. And after the video, I'll also put one in the description of the video too. Okay, today we're going to make envelopes, and Carole's going to show us how to make it on the iPad app. And then I'm going to follow her example. I don't even know how she's making it or anything. I'm going to watch along as she's teaching you, and then I'm going to do it in Design Space. So you'll be able to do them both in Design Space. And I will also be reading questions, but we're going to try to let her teach us. And then after she's finished, we'll answer questions before I move on. So, are we good? It says we don't have bad. We have bad. We never have bad. It says it's not going through good. Can you guys see okay? I'm going to switch it over to, let's first do this.
You are watching Melody Lane. With me, you're gonna have a great crafting time.
Hello, Ann Weedman. I haven't seen you in a while. And Sheila Rogers #1 is here. And Joan. Hello, Sue. Sheila, that was for you. Hi, Gary. Okay, guys, your comments will also be in the video after it's over. The sound is low. No, you're not supposed to see me on the screen. We're going to get our hair done later. So our hair doesn't look the best.
We're hiding.
Yes. Okay, I'm going to switch over to Design Space. So Carole's going to show us how to put this, how to make this envelope, correct?
Right.
How do you make this envelope out of free shapes? So you guys can make this envelope.
All set?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think we're good.
So we're going to start by doing a 5x7 envelope. It's really, really easy. And once you know how to do one, it'll be easy to figure out how to do any shape or size you want. The only thing you're limited by is the size of your mat. So you would be able to go as high as 11.5 inches high, but up to 23.5 inches long if you were making a fun card for a group or something. You'll just need to put it together in pieces. So I'm going to start out with a new screen. And it's really simple. It really is simple. I'm going to take a square. I usually always work on white because it's so much easier to see that my score lines are straight. If I'm making an envelope for a 5x7 card, I'm going to use 5.1 by 7.1 just to give enough space for the card to be put in and out a lot easier. So for width, I'm going to go 7.1. It didn't work. 7.1. And for height, I'm going to go 5.1. So that's where I start. I'm going to duplicate it and just put this extra one over on the side. We're going to use it in a minute. So on this first piece, we need wings that fold over so that we'll be able to hold the envelope together. So I'm going to take another free shape. I'm going to use an octagon. Whoops, we'll move that out of the way. And I'm going to use a square. Move my square to the front. It is on the front, sorry. And I'm just going to line it up and give myself a little bit like that. I'm going to select those both and slice. This is going to become my wing for my envelope. So I'm just going to line it up on the side of my envelope and stretch it down so it fits. I'm going to duplicate it, go to Edit, flip it over and move it to the other side. Select all and weld it together. So now I have my wings. This extra piece, I'm going to go into my layers panel and change it to a score. So when I put it on the front of the envelope, is it on the front layer? Or move to the front. It's going to become my score line for the envelope, lined up in the center, but we don't want it yet because we're going to weld another piece. I'm going to take another square, make it white. I'm going to make this one 7.1 wide, like the first, but I'm only going to make it 7.1, maybe 6.9 high, so that it doesn't go all the way up to the top. Oops, sorry, 4.9, apologies, there. Because I don't want it to reach all the way up to the top. It makes it difficult for the card to come in and out. I'm going to take a circle. I'm going to compress it down about that big. How big is that? About 1/2 inch in height. And I'm just going to line it up in the center of this, halfway up, and make sure it's centered. It's a little hard to move it, it's small. Select these and slice. So I have a little thumb opening, which will make the card easier to remove. Line these two up. Centered, select all, and weld. So now I have my card. Now I can take this, make sure it's in the front, and I can attach it. There we go. Action and attach. So now I have the body of my envelope made. I need a flap. But because we're restricted to 11.5 inches, we have to make our flaps separately. So I'm going to take an octagon again for my flap. You can use a circle, you can use an oval, a square, whatever you prefer. I'm going to take a square, place it on top about halfway, and I'm going to slice again. So now I have my octagon. I can get rid of this, I don't need it. Turn it sideways. And I'm going to make it 7.1 inches wide. Whoa! What happened there?
It's because you turned it.
Yeah.
So now they're the opposite.
I need it about 2 inches high and 7.1 inches wide. There we go. That'll be my flap. But I need to be able to attach this to the envelope. So I'm going to take another square. I'm going to make it 7.1 inches wide and 1 inch high. I'm going to put it here. Go to Action, duplicate it, and put it on the side. There's my next score line. Take these two, weld. We'll turn this one into a score line, and we'll just attach it to the top. I don't know, can you see it on black where I put the score line?
No. Well, I mean, we can see the line there that's highlighted.
Okay. So I've used that rectangle to make my score line again. It's so much easier that way to line them up. So I'm going to take this and attach. So that is the part that will fold over the top of your envelope and attach your flap. And that's all there is to it.
So you just use adhesive to attach it. You don't attach
Right.
it before you cut it because it'll be too big for the mat.
Exactly. It won't fit on your mat.
Yes. Okay. Do we have any questions for that? I'm going to show it again on InDesign Space. So we're going to go through the same thing again. And I'm just taking it. I've never made one of these like this. So I'm just going to hopefully remember what she just taught us. Do I sound nervous?
It's really easy. It'll come back right away.
Yeah. Okay. I don't have this up. Okay, there we go. Okay. So here I am in Design Space, and we're going to, remember we need a square and an octagon, right?
Mm-hmm. And
Yeah, this one. And a square. Okay. And is the square 7.1?
if you're making a 5x7 card, you need that extra 0.1 so the card can be inserted and removed easily.
Okay. So 7.1 wide, and how long?
5.1.
Well, here, I'll just go up here. 7.1 and 5.1. Okay. And then I have to cut some of this off?
To make your wings, yes.
Right, so I need another square.
Yes.
Okay. See, I think people will get this better with you telling me, teaching it to me. And it doesn't really matter what size these are.
No, you
right?
can make them any size you want. So it's just to get the shape. I like using an octagon. You can use ovals, rectangles, anything you want to make the wings, but I like the shape.
So I'm going to go to slice. And then select those and delete them. And I duplicate this. And does this go from top to bottom here?
Yes.
So, well, here, I'll get it perfect. 5.1. And we're going to flip this. I'm going to hit flip horizontally, unlock it, change the height to 5.1.
And before you weld it,
I'll
I'll let you line that up. Don't weld it yet.
Yeah, I'm not.
Okay.
Here, let me scoot it over first. We want to align top so they're perfect, and then weld.
Don't weld yet. Your first rectangle, you want to duplicate to make your score
Oh.
lines.
Okay, forgot. Duplicate and change it to score,
And just set it aside.
and they're going over there. Okay. And I feel this isn't close enough to weld there. I think that's okay. I'm going to align again just to make sure. Align top and then weld. Oh, see, it has a line here. That's not, I have to unweld. I have to make sure you can't see the lines. So I'm just scooting it over a little more. And I think I moved it up a little. So I'm going to align top and then weld. Okay. So now what do I do?
now you want to make the bottom that folds up and attaches to your wings.
So What shapes do I need?
You need a square only, and you'll
Okay.
need a circle to slice.
Oh yeah,
Your
remember the
thumb.
little slice
Right.
thumb part. So this is 7.1 wide or 5?
7.1 wide, but you want to make it a little less than 5.1 high.
Oh, did you do 4.1?
I did 4.9, I think,
Okay.
or 4.8. Just so that it's easier, it makes it easier to remove the card when it's in the envelope. If it goes right up to the top, it's harder to remove the card.
Okay.
So before you weld it, you want to cut out your thumb hole.
Oh yeah. So I'm gonna unlock it, and this just can really be any
Size.
size I want.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna center it. Align. Center horizontally, and then slice.
Amelia, yes, you can just weld the octagon on. I just do that out of habit. But you could just weld it onto the side.
Okay. Then weld this onto that.
Yes.
Cool. And then I'm going to change the color just so we can see it. And then this, make sure it's in the front. And line it up with the top line there. And attach. So I have it all selected and attached. Yay, I made an envelope. Right?
Yes. It's perfect.
Okay, let me look at the questions. They asked me to change the color, and I did anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Mary Stevens asks, how much do you add if your card is thicker? I would just add a few more points, maybe.
You need to do a more dimensional envelope. We could do that another time. So you would. I also make envelopes that are like 1/2 inch deep or 1 inch deep, so that you can use heavily embellished cards in them. And they're kind of like box envelopes, but they are envelopes.
Oh, Jennifer's reminding me I still have to make the flap.
Yep.
I forgot. I
Oh,
thought I was done.
I thought you were taking a break.
No, I thought I was done. Okay. How do we make the flap?
Slice an octagon.
That's right, in the middle, right? Move him out of the way. So this is the top flap. And if you hit the shift key while you turn this, it'll stop at the different points and be even. So now it's even that way. And this is 7.1.
Yes.
See, I remember some things. And what about the height?
I usually use about 2 inches,
Okay.
so that it goes a good part of the way down the envelope.
Didn't change. There.
So
Oh, you added more to it though.
I add 1 inch to it to attach to the back. So if you flip that over, not sideways but horizontally, flip it over. You can place it on top of your envelope and see how far down it will go.
Oh.
So that will be where you close your envelope. Now you need about a 1 inch strip along it that you'll adhere to the back of the envelope.
And I duplicate this first, right?
Yes. Yes.
Duplicate. That'll be a score.
Doing it that way makes it so easy to add your score lines.
And then want to line these up. Line right. And weld.
Yes.
Okay. Now let's change the color of this one. Make it a little bit different. And arrange top. Select it and attach.
Ta-da!
Yay! Now I made one. Awesome. So then, would you glue this on this whole inch place?
The inch I would glue to the back. So the score line would line up with the top of your envelope.
Right.
It
Oh,
wouldn't
the
be.
score line.
Yes. So that
Okay.
would fold over to the back and I would glue it there.
Okay.
Because we're limited on the width of what we can cut, it's necessary to use pieces sometimes. If you're making a 4x5 envelope, you can make it on one cut, in one piece. But even 6x6, you wouldn't have enough space unless you use a 24-inch mat. So it's just easier to do it in sections.
Yeah.
On a 6x6, I do one piece that's got the wings and the flap, and a second piece that has a 1-inch fold over with the front of the envelope. I do it in 2 pieces that way. It's a little different, but as long as you can picture it in different sections, you can make envelopes of any size.
So this one is for a 5x7 card. So we made it 7.1 by 5.1 is the original box.
Mm-hmm.
So if they want 4 1/4 by 5.5, they would make it maybe 4 by 0.4 and 5 by 0.6 or 7, something
Yeah,
like that.
just add an extra point or like 0.1 or 0.15, something like that, just to give enough space. If it's too tight, it's not as pleasing to give because you struggle to get the card in and out of the envelope. So if you just have that little space,
Awesome.
it's nicer.
And congrats, Sally. FedEx just delivered her maker.
Woohoo! You're
Lost
gonna
my
love
mouse.
it.
Yes. So I'm gonna check. Do you guys have any questions?
Doesn't look like.
Virginia's rooting me on. Melody, you can do this.
It's actually really easy to do.
Yeah. You just have to remember the steps.
Yes. Remember to duplicate the extra to get your score lines. I mean, if you don't, it's no big deal. You can replicate the box and change it into a score line. Or you can just add each line individually, but it's so much easier just to use a rectangle, change it to score, and plop it on the center.
Have you ever done decorative liners for the envelopes?
I have. I've had. Yes, I have actually. And sometimes I slice out of them, out of the flap. I'll slice hearts or stars or things out of the flap before I add my score line to it, just to make them a little cuter. Sometimes I line just the flap and not the whole body of the envelope.
So let me see. If you wanted to line this, could you just make it
You could
smaller?
probably just make it smaller, yeah. It would work out. It wouldn't be perfect, but yes, it would actually look pretty good because the part
'Cause
that's...
this would be glued.
Yes, that part's glued, so it would actually look pretty good with the lining inside the flap.
And you could change it.
And use printed paper
Yeah.
or something.
Well, that would be pretty with this whole top part printed paper.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a fun thing about making it in separate pieces instead of all one envelope, one piece, because you can mix up your colors to match your card colors. And
Yeah.
yeah, it's a lot of fun. Or use some printed paper for the flap or for the body and put a solid flap on it or cut things out of it. And it's a fun way to do envelopes for sure.
Awesome. We don't have any questions.
We must have done a good job then. If using a 24-inch mat, you can weld all of the pieces.
Yeah, you can if you're using a bigger mat.
Yes.
Don't be intimidated, Jolene. Just go in there and try it. And you can watch the videos and pause them, do the step, and then play the video again, and then pause it again, and then do the step again. The best way to learn is to try. You can go to Design Space and go, oh my gosh, I don't know how to do this. I can't do it. I'm not going to do it. I don't know how. Or you can watch a video and follow along and just do it. Like after she was done, I was like, I've never seen her make an envelope before, and I don't think I've ever made an envelope. I just used them in Cricut Access or something, so I've never seen her do it before. So I just learned from her telling me.
No, I don't. Well, actually, I've been making envelopes for, I'm sorry, it's Elsa. I've been making a lot of envelopes, so I have them all in my files. I just redo the same process for a different size envelope. If I'm making a 6x6, I put it together a little differently. I'll look and see if I have the file handy so that at least I can show you how I do a 6x6. I must have one somewhere.
And Brenda says she asked about the size and postage.
Oh, I'm Canadian, so I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know either. I know square cards cost a lot more to send. And I think it's not just the size of the card, it's the weight of the card. So if you have a card with lots of embellishments, it may cost more. If they have things sticking up on it, the post office doesn't like that either. Thanks, Jamie.
Oh, just for the heck of it, because we were talking about that. This is how I would make a card with a 1/2-inch dimension. So
wait
if
a
you
minute. Let me go to you. Where's... Oh, it's this one. Duh.
There
Sorry,
we
guys.
So if I need a 1/2-inch dimension on my envelope, you can see how I add the extra space and use on my wings and use a double score line to give it the extra dimension. And I do that also on the flap. I don't know if you can see it on here. I have moved that. I don't know why my score line's not showing, but I would do that also on the bottom, so that when I attached my fold, I had that 1/2-inch that I needed. So I just happened on that one while I was looking for a 6x6 envelope to show you the difference how I make them. 6x6, here's one. Open. Replace. So on a 6x6, if I put the two main pieces together, it would be 12 inches too big for my mat. So I add a flap, a fold over on the front of it. I do my wings and I attach my flap for closing. I don't know if I'm explaining that well enough.
I think so.
Yeah.
Somebody says you could, for the flap, you could add a decorative piece. They use a
Absolutely.
label in Cricut Design Space. Yeah, so you don't have to use the shapes we're using. You can go into Design Space I don't know.
I've used borders to make a decorative flap on it. I've used different things like that.
Oh yeah, border would be good.
But this is just this was just an example of how to make a simple envelope, how fast it is, so that you can make any size that you need. Because we know sometimes the cards vary. Sometimes you want to make a 4x6 card and you need a particular envelope. You can go out to the store and get a package of 25, but you only want one. So why not make your own?
And Diana Lynn, thank you so much for the super chat. Okay, notice I typed in borders and only one came up. And so now I typed in border. And we got snow borders. Get the icicles. That's all I know. Let me go to cartridges. Ribbons and Rosettes has lots of them. Like you could even do this one.
Alicia, I have a removable tape runner, so I use that. I know that on US Amazon you're able to get envelope adhesive. I think it's a liquid, you just put it on, let it dry, and then you moisten it to seal the envelope just like a purchased envelope. But I haven't found it in Canada, so I've been using a removable tape runner.
So like I'm just doing this as an example. You can take this and attach it to this first, you know, before you, oh wait, that was the inner one. I would have to detach the score line, bring this to the front, but that's too long. Let me take this, just make it smaller. Weld there. Bring the score line to the front. It's not grabbing it, so we're going to move this to the back. Then bring that there. Select them both. Attach. So now we have a different shaped flap.
Mm-hmm. That's cute.
Yeah. So you can, there's all kinds of things you can use in Design Space.
What do you seal it with?
When I do my envelopes, after I put the card in, I just use the tape runner. Thank you, Brenda. A little donations for snacks tomorrow. Thank you both for sharing today. Thank you. We're having a meet and greet at my house tomorrow.
Sue was asking where I found the 6x6 envelope. I made it, and I think I may have already shared it in Melody's group, but if not, I can share it again.
All right, guys, are there any more questions? Are you all going to start making your own envelopes?
Maybe.
So if you've never, I know so many of you are brand new. If you've never made anything, I challenge you to make an envelope, cut it out of paper, and you can use, I like to use the pattern paper sometimes.
Yes.
The scrapbook paper. It doesn't have to be thick cardstock. You can do the thinner scrapbook paper. Sometimes if it depends on how thick it is, I might put washi tape around the edges just to keep it more secure.
Going
All
to
right.
try, yay!
Yes. All right, I think we're going to let you go. Right after this, I have a live video with the people who support my channel on Patreon. So if you're one of my Patreon supporters, we have a live video coming up at noon. And so I will see you guys there. Joanna uses the pattern paper and puts the pattern on the inside. So when they open it up, they can see it. And that would be pretty to do the envelope part with the pattern on the inside and then do the flat part with the pattern on the outside.
Right. That'd be terrific.
And use the pattern on your card.
You're welcome, Sue.
If you change a score line to cut, will it cut a straight line? Yes, it will. It actually scores a straight line. They only have it dashed to tell you that it's a score line, but it actually scores the full line. It's not dashed. All right, guys. Thank you so much.
Thanks for watching.
And I will see you next Saturday at 11 a.m. Bye.
Bye.